Hey, it's John Fleischman with SoDoesItMatter.com, and it's time for, well, our weekly feature for the Who Had the Worst Week in California Politics. And oh, what a difference 1 week makes. Just 1 week ago, Eric Swalwell was still a member of Congress and still trying to claw his way into the top two race for California governor. Now he's out of the governor's race, out of Congress, abandoned by allies, rejected by former staff, and facing a growing legal disaster. And when I say disaster, I think he's looking at criminal charges, civil charges. Who knows what's going on with that guy? Anyways, that's not a bad news cycle. It's a political extinction event, a huge explosion to happen in California politics. And it literally wasn't even on the radar when I was assembling my list of winners and losers 1 week ago. It all started with an allegation so serious that it blew a hole straight through Eric Swalwell's entire brand. According to reporting that I read by Alexei Kozov in the San Francisco Chronicle, former staffer accused him of having sex with her twice when she said she was too intoxicated to consent. As a matter of fact, I think I even read about where, like, she passed out and woke up, or maybe this was another one of the alleged victims, and woke up in bed. I think it was another one who woke up in bed in a hotel knowing that she'd been sexually violated and it was his room. Anyways, that's not like a murky whisper campaign. These were specific, devastating allegations that went straight to the core of whether Eric Swalwell was a decent human being, let alone whether or not he could survive the political ramifications. I remember within hours of the allegations going public, he put out a quick video denying it, and I haven't yet to talk to anybody who thought that his video was remotely convincing. But even then, denial was not going to put this fire out. The story just got worse. Other women came forward with additional accusations of misconduct, including claims of explicit messages, unsolicited photos, and other inappropriate behavior, including another accusation of somebody getting roofied and sexually assaulted. So this is not a single allegation. It became like a pattern that was unveiled. And frankly, once Eric Swalwell became the center of this story with a pattern and more things getting released, things then moved along very quickly. It's not just a political scandal at this point. It was becoming a multi-jurisdictional legal mess with Manhattan, LA County, Alameda County, and federal authorities all now part of the criminal investigation web. Anyways, this thing stopped becoming an embarrassing moment for him, and it starts to become existential to him and even his freedom. The politics unquestionably got bad and destructive, and I really wonder how much worse they can get for him. But anyways, when all of this hit, his support evaporated so quickly, it made what happened with Cesar Chavez look like it took forever. Former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senators Adam Schiff and Ruben Gallego, dozens of elected federal and state politicians all dumped him right away. And also his major interest group or special interest groups, or as I call them, the corrupting influences in California politics, the California Teachers Association, SEIU, California Labor Federation, these groups all bailed on him. They ran for the doors. And that's the part that really tells you everything. When the people who benefited from your rise decide you are too toxic to defend, your career is no longer in trouble. It is over. And then came one of the most damaging blows of all. His own former staff people turned on him. 55 former staffers signed a letter urging him to step down, basically saying, "We don't believe you. We believe the women." That's a devastating hit in a way that can't be matched by attacks from opponents. These were your own staff people. Anyways, when people who decide to work for you, who defended you and helped you build your career, decide they want no part of you anymore, I mean, your goose is cooked, buddy. And it's not spin. It's not opposition research. It's not an internal verdict. Swalwell put out a short video denying the allegations, and that did nothing. It did not freeze the panic. It did not save his campaign. It did not keep his party from continuing to throw him overboard. First, the gubernatorial campaign collapsed. Then his position in Congress collapsed. The House ethics cloud got darker. Talk of expulsion grew louder. And so Eric Swalwell did what, frankly, probably the only thing he could do when you need to focus on criminal allegations. He quit before he could be removed from the House, before an invasive and high-profile health ethics investigation could take place. So, in just a few days, he went from a sitting member of Congress and gubernatorial contender to former congressman and politically toxic. That's a remarkably fast fall, even by the brutal standards of modern politics. And here's what makes it even more satisfying politically, if that's the right word. Swalwell spent years playing the role of the national scold. He was always on television, always preaching, always posturing, always self righteous, always acting like he was the self appointed prosecutor of everyone else's misdeeds. He built a public persona around moral certainty, righteousness, and the idea that he was qualified to lecture the country about standards. Now he's the one under the microscope. Now he's the one watching his allies flee. Now he's the one finding out that when you build your brand on moral superiority, the fall's a lot harder and a lot further when your image just blows up. And his did. So why is Eric Swalwell the winner of the worst week in California politics? Because nobody else even comes close. He lost his gubernatorial campaign, his seat in Congress. I won't repeat it because I've just went through it all. But all I can tell you is that there is nobody else who even comes close to having the worst week in politics. And if I decide to produce a worst week of the year, boy, it's going to be really hard to beat him. So anyways, that's what we have. It was just a big, huge disaster. So thanks for being a part of the So Does It Matter experiment. We're having a good time. This week alone, we picked up hundreds of new free subscribers, dozens of new paid subscribers. We just continue to rock and roll in Substack. We've spent the whole week on the bestseller list. We're at about 50 now. And this is in a universe where over 35 million people are deciding what Substacks to follow and be a part of. So thank you very much. We'll be back next week with our next installment of the worst week in California politics.